Today we're going to go over 5 Minecraft Redstone life hacks, and as you may use your counting abilities, there are actually six little boxes here, but that's because I want to put 5 in the title and I thought of a 6th one, and let's just say this is a bonus one, because you guys have been good little boys this year, so Santa's brought an extra life hack in Redstone for you. For anyone that's procrastinating studying at the moment, I suggest that you keep watching my videos because they are far more important than whatever you want to pass with your future or anything. These life hacks, they will come in handy in life so much more than an actual degree. So let's start with number 1. And this one is when I do blocks like that. Any like Redstone YouTuber you'll see probably has corners that look like this, instead of just a corner like this where the redstone just goes around with a repeater, and this is what an amateur does. But a real redstone professional, a real gamer, will have a block like this. And with redstone contraptions, what you got to know is any free block you can put there is useful. Even though it's literally one block space that isn't being used, it could still come in handy with something, compacting something. If you have, so we go like this, we put that down and a repeater going into there. Now we can have a torch on that side, or maybe just redstone like this, or a piston or a light on this block. And so that's why we tend to do this, because this redstone, it already counts as a block, and so this isn't taking any extra room. And you can do it with a repeater on this side and redstone on that side, a repeater on that side and redstone on this side, or just straight up 2 repeaters. But the problem is you can't do it with 2 redstone lines. That's not going to work. This next one's kind of a continuation of that one, but it's doing it instead of on a corner, it's just in the middle of a redstone line. If you have a repeater and you jump up like a block like this, or this one, you can put something under it, like a redstone line under it, and if you put the repeater before the block, any redstone line you put there will light up if there's redstone on that block. If we put a repeater there, it's not going to power, so you can have another redstone line running to wherever. But if we put a redstone line there, just a normal dust, that will light up because it's hard powering that block, which is also powering that one. On the other hand, if you want redstone going along there and you don't want it to, get powered, you just have the repeater on the other side of the block, so it doesn't power it, obviously. For the third one, this life hack is if you need any redstone signal to travel upwards in any shape or form. And so I suggest using either glass blocks or a torch tower, and they both have their benefits. You'll almost never see, unless it's in survival and you're in a cave or something and you're going up through ground, then you might see something like this. But in just normal contraptions like I make, you'll almost never see that because it's just inefficient. It's twice the thickness of that, and even that's twice the thickness of this, and so you won't see this. And if you're going up redstone like a staircase, like obviously this, I always delete these blocks here because it looks so much smaller, and it is smaller, I guess. And then in this case you can have blocks traveling under each point like this, so you can have extra lines like that. And obviously you can see the difference. That's like twice as thick again than this. So just remove those corner blocks if you don't need them. It makes literally no difference in the world. Last 3 redstone hacks are the more juicier ones. So let's get into number 4, which is to do with observers. If you want observers, actually this is kind of 2 in 1. If you want something to turn on when you flick it on and not off, or if you want something to turn on or pulse when you flick the switch off but not on, you just attach an observer to a piston like this, sticky piston, obviously. Let's get rid of that. So if you want to turn the switch on and it turns, and something to pulse like this light, see, there's a pulse, but then when we turn it off, there's nothing. When we turn it on, something. When we turn it off, there's nothing. And this is the same thing, just opposite you just put the line of redstone or repeater or whatever you want in the opposite position. So you put it, so when you turn it on, nothing happens, but if we turn it off, there we go, there's a pulse there. And if I try it again, obviously it's going to work. There we go. Second part of this life hack is if you want the observer pulse to last a little longer. So obviously with this one, it's going to be 1 tick pulse, so 1/10 of a second. But if you put a repeater right here, it's going to be slower. This light's going to turn on a little bit after that light, but it will be on for longer. So if we turn it on, see how this one kind of just flashes instantly and then flashes off. Let's get rid of these because that has been annoying me. And then if we do it again, it lasts 4/10 of a second. So 4 ticks it stays on, even though an observer's pulse is 1 tick, because the repeater obviously extends it. You're ready to get your dicks hard for this one, because I find this one of the more useful redstone hacks. If we come around to this one, you can see a line of torches and a line of redstone. Now there's a block in between the two, so as you know, that redstone line's not going to affect these whatsoever. If we turn it on and off, nothing's going to happen. And the same for this one. Redstone block, you might think it might power this, but redstone blocks don't actually hard power full blocks. So unfortunately, nothing's going to happen to the torches. Same for this one. If you have a block, if you had a block up here, if I can get it, that will be hard powered. So if I put a torch on there and then do that, it will affect it. But if there's a block there, nothing's going to happen. And same if I have a block here, this isn't going to affect this block whatsoever. But if I delete these and come around to here, again, this will hard power this block, but it won't power this block at all. No matter how many times I turn it on and off, it won't happen. But that's where pistons come into handy. You might think it's kind of weird that a piston could be used for this, but for some reason it does work. If you power a piston in any way, if there's a torch on it, it'll turn off. So you replace those blocks with pistons, the torches will turn on and off. Even though the piston kind of doubles in size and there's now 6 blocks instead of 3 blocks, it's a small price to pay for kind of a cool way to power these. And same for this one. All those torches turn on and off like that. And then if we remove this torch and try this one, it'll turn on and off. And needless to say, this one will as well. Every torch on the piston, obviously you can't put a torch upside down, unfortunately, because that would be pretty cool and useful. It still works with a piston. Now, for the bonus life hack, the Christmas present, because you've been good boys, as I've said, we have this set up. And so if I flick this on, this is going to affect both lines. It's going to affect this piston here, and it'll affect this piston here because there's redstone powering it like that. But what if you want this switch to only affect one of these? So this switch does that piston, and you only want this switch to do this piston. What you do, instead of having a redstone block, you put any sort of container. And these are just 4 examples out of the few that you can use. And you need a comparator there. And you also need stuff in the container. You can put anything. You can put 1 block in it if you want. But now, each switch does a different piston like this, as you can see. If I play with that a little, it'll work.